Namaste Saraswati Devi Bhavani Prachandi Nirvishesha Srila Prabhupada ki Guru Maharaj ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
So I'd like to thank the dear devotees who joined us. I'd like to wish for your kind, good-hearted wishes so that we can say something to please Radha and Krishna and Balaram, and like your blessings so that we can advance somewhat in this turbulent world that we live in. So today we wanted to talk about the 9th. Oh, 10th. Today's the last one, isn't it? Yeah, today's the last one. The 10th avatar, Kalki avatar, who will appear, has yet to appear, is predicted to appear. So a lot written about him in our holy scriptures, and I wanted to go.
You're on mute, Prabhu.
Okay, so this is a wonderful slok on Bhagavatam, first chapter, 3rd canto, 25th verse, which describes Kalki Avatar a little bit. So we can recite that together. Athao so yoga sandhyayam dasyu prayashu rajashu janita vishnu yasasho namna kalkir jagatpate. Translation is this: thereafter, at the conjunction of the two yugas, that's Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga, and then the new Satya Yuga that's about to start, the Lord of the creation will take his birth as the Kalki incarnation and become the son of Vishnu Yash. At this time, Yasha, at this time, the rulers of the earth will degenerate into plunderers. So we are in Kali Yuga. We are in Kali Yuga every about 5,000 years, just over 5,000 years. And as the Yuga progresses, it gets worse and worse in terms of the qualities of this age. And we're already seeing, as we were discussing yesterday, how bad this age has already become. So the Bhagavatam in the 12th canto, chapter 2, makes a prediction, makes many predictions actually. And here are some of them. So these are 10 predictions given in this chapter 12 of chapter 2 of the canto 12. So religion, truthfulness, cleanliness, tolerance, mercy, duration of life, physical strength, and memory will all diminish day by day because of the powerful influence of the age of Kali. So this personality of Kali will have a downgrading effect on everyone. And we're already seeing this. In Kali Yuga, wealth alone will be considered a sign of a man's good birth, proper behavior, and fine qualities. And law and order will be applied on the basis, only on the basis of one's power. So wealth will be the barometer, the quality that one is judged by. If one is wealthy, one is successful. If one is poor, then one is unsuccessful. Men and women will live together merely because of superficial attraction. And success in business will depend on deceit. Womanliness and manliness will be judged according to one's expertise and sense. And a man will be known as a Brahmin just by his wearing a thread. So we are seeing this is very much actually the facts. Already this is where we are at. Number 4, A person's spiritual position will be ascertained merely according to external symbols. The clothes one wears, the tilak on the forehead, shaved head. And on that basis, same basis, people will change from one spiritual order to the next. A person's propriety will be seriously questioned if he does not earn a good living. And one who is very clever at juggling words will be considered a learned scholar. Number 5, a person will be judged unholy if he does not have money. And hypocrisy will be accepted as virtue. Marriage will be arranged simply by verbal agreement, and a person will think he is fit to appear in public if he has merely taken a bath. Of course, nowadays, many people don't even take baths and they just go out and do everything. Maybe for a few days they may not take baths. But even if one takes a bath, it's not enough because we've cleaned the outside. But what about the inside? The wonderful slok which we chant for purification. Om apavitra pavitra va sarvavastagato piva yasmanet pundarikaksham chabhyam suchi. So one can clean outside with soap and water, but inside one needs to remember the Supreme Personality of God in order to clean the insides. So the 6th prediction. A sacred place will be taken to consist of no more than a reservoir of water located at a distance. And beauty will be thought to depend on one's hairstyle. Filling the belly will become the goal of life. And one who is audacious will be accepted as truthful. He who can maintain a family will be regarded as an expert man. And the principles of religion will be observed only for the sake of reputation. So one goes to a temple for show that I'm a religious man, but actually all sorts of things may be happening. They may be doing all sorts of things. So the 7th prediction. As the earth thus becomes crowded with corrupt population, whoever among any of the social classes shows himself to be the strongest will gain political power. And this is so true. Look at America, and they have Mr. Trump as their president, which is incredible, really. 8, harassed by famine and excessive taxes, people will resort to eating leaves, roots, flesh, wild honey, fruits, flowers, and seeds. Struck by drought, they will become completely ruined. So we are seeing this happening. Perhaps it's not as stark as we think, but actually it's prevalent throughout most countries in Moscow or around the world. Excessive taxes, and look at, especially in Bharat, sometimes they have droughts and so many things, so much water, so much rain sometimes. Number 9, the citizens will suffer greatly from cold, wind, heat, rain, and snow. They will be further tormented by quarrels, hunger, thirst, disease, severe anxiety. One of the biggest problems, especially in the West, is depression and stress. And the maximum duration of life for human beings in Kali will become 50 years. So now we can see so many people dying so young, especially because of the current virus that's going around. So we won't talk too much about the degradation of Kali, but this is what is predicted in the scriptures. And to a large extent, we can see that these predictions already are manifest. Even it's only the beginning, if you like, of Kali Yuga. So, and also we are in this golden period after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after he came. It's predicted that the next 10,000 years will be actually like Satya Yuga. But we can see actually that Kali Yuga has already progressed. And much of these predictions are already manifest, already true. So let's talk about Kalki in context of what we've just talked about the degradation of Kali. So when it deteriorates, as predicted in the second chapter of the 12th canto, the Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Kalki will appear. He comes in the scriptures. It is predicted in which family he'll come, in which city he'll come. So Lord Kalki will appear in the home of the most eminent Brahman of Shambhal village, the great soul Vishnu Yasha. And this is we've just read that actually, 12. No, sorry, we read it in the first canto. So in the 12th canto also, it mentions the same, 12 to 18. Endowed with, and this is actually predicted in many, many scriptures. So in the Vishnu Puran, same description is given. He's endowed with these 8 superhuman faculties. In the Mahabharata, it says, he will restore order and peace in this world, overcrowded with creatures and contradictions in its laws. He will be the destroyer of all, and he will be the maker of a new Yuga, Satya Yuga. In the Padma Puran, it says, Kalki will end the age of Kali, and will kill all wicked militias, and thus destroy the bad condition of the world. Agni Puran, when the non-Aryans who pose as kings begin devouring men who appear righteous and feed on human beings, Kalki, as a son of Vishnu Yasha, and Yagyavalkya, as his priest and teacher, will destroy these non-Aryans with his weapons. He will establish moral law in the form of 4-fold varnas, or the suitable organization of society in 4 classes. After that, people return to the path of religiousness. In the Brahma Vaivarta Puran, Narayan shall appear in one of his rays in the form of the great Kalki as a son of that Brahmana. He will be mounted on a very big horse and holding a sword in his hand. So in the scriptures, the place where he will appear is described. His family is described. The name of the family is mentioned, in which he will be born into. So it's very important to understand that nowadays there's a fashion to become an avatar or an incarnation of God. In fact, there's several Kalkis already, Kalki avatars in inverted commas already appeared in India, in Bharat. But actually, we have to look with the eyes of scripture and understand that an avatar is not a cheap thing. It's a huge thing. And he has to be predicted in the script. But not just that. There are many other signs by which we can tell if one is an avatar of God or not. But nowadays, people tend to be cheated very easily by those who want to cheat. So sometimes we see how somebody will produce some ashes out of thin air or do something which seems very extraordinary, and suddenly he's promoted, or he promotes himself as God. But actually God is not that cheap. He's very, very special, and those qualities need to manifest before we accept somebody as Supreme Lord. So the family of Kalki will be qualified Brahmanas. This means that a disciplic and family line of spiritually qualified Brahmanas will remain on this planet throughout the age of Kali, no matter how bad things are. So things will become worse and worse. We'll see less and less devotees as Kali progresses. But there will always be a line available for the Lord to appear through. They may be hidden, perhaps in some small village somewhere, maybe even in the forests, but there will be this line of tradition that the Lord will appear within. And it's said that he is the similar color to Lord Krishna, like a dark rain cloud, freshly formed dark rain cloud, bluish, blackish color. Kalki will be born from a Brahman who is actually an incarnation of Swayambhuva Manu. Swayambhuva Manu performed austerities on the banks of the Gomati to have Lord Vishnu as his son in 3 different lifetimes. That was what he desired. He performed great tapasya And Lord Vishnu, being very pleased with him, appeared and granted him that blessing. So he appeared as Ram. So these are the three times that he appeared as the son of Swayambhu Manu, Ramachandra, Lord Krishna, and Kalki. So Kalki yet to appear, but he will fulfill that promise in this age. So he appears, Swayambhu Manu appears as Dashrath, Vasudev, and then Vishnu Yasa. So this is stated in the Padma Purana. Now, further explanations are given. And there's a whole Purana written about Lord Kalki. And actually it's been translated by a devotee called Satyanarayan Prabhu in Bharat. And this book is available to purchase. So these descriptions are in the second chapter of Kalki Purana. After hearing everything that the demigods had to say regarding the situation on earth, Lord Vishnu said. So the demigods approached Lord Vishnu in Shwetadvip, and they were informing him about the crazy situation of Kali. And the Lord assured them, Lord Brahma, oh Brahma, I will descend soon to the earth and appear in a village known as Shambhala. I will take birth in the house of a Brahmin named Vishnu Yasha from the womb of his wife, Sumati. My mission will be to eliminate the wicked Kali and his influence with the help of my 4 brothers. O demigods, your expansions should take birth on the earth to assist me in my mission. My consort, the beloved lotus-eyed Kamala Devi, will also appear on the earth, having the name Padma. She will be born from the womb of Gaumudi, the wife of Brihadratha, the king of Simhala. So it's quite specific, very specific. Lord Vishnu is describing exactly how he's going to appear, where he's going to appear, with whom he's going to appear. He carries on, Devatas, you should not delay. You should also take birth on earth. And after I have finished my job, my business of destroying miscreants, I will hand over the responsibility of the earth to 2 powerful kings, Maru and Devaki. I will then again re-establish Satyayug and reinstate the principles of religion as they were before. So Kali will end after the appearance of Kalki, after he has cleared out the miscreants, and a new age will begin of righteousness. Rest assured, I will return to Vaikuntha only after destroying the poisonous snake, Kali. So it's important to consider these factors to understand that not just anyone can claim to be Kalki. Many ordinary people are already putting their claim to this, that I am Kalki or this person is Kalki. But in this age of Kali, unfortunately, there are many cheaters and there are many who want to be cheated. So when somebody claims that they're God, or that this person is God, or that person is God, we have to understand what are the qualities of God. In that way, we won't be cheated. So,
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Priti, yes.
So, Prabhu, who wrote the Kalki Puran?
That would be Vyasdev.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when it says Kalki will reestablish the Satyug, isn't there like a break? So at the end of Kali, so it doesn't happen straight away, does it?
Usually it does. Only there's a break when there's a manmantara change. So there are 14 manmantaras in day of Lord Brahma. So when those manmantras change, then there's a mini devastation. And then at the end of the day of Brahma, there's quite a large devastation that takes place. So there's a big break. But generally between the yugas, as far as I understand, there won't be a break unless there is a change in the manmantara.
I see, okay.
But we have, actually, the next thing we probably look at is the manmantara avatar, so we'll have a better idea exactly when there is a break, as you said. There's a little delay in the next yuga coming.
Okay.
Usually,
Of course, yeah. At night, it's there's nothing. Of course, I forgot.
Sorry.
Where like when Brahma breathes in, everything kind of disappears, and then obviously
Yes.
the next breath it comes out. But I forgot about the whole night part where there is nothing going on.
Yeah.
Brahma's night.
Yeah, that's correct. There's one. Yeah, that's right. Because his day is 12 hours, but his night is 12 hours as well. So during the night there's nothing much happening. That's right. Okay, good.
I just wanted to ask, where's Shambal village? Where is that?
Yeah, Shambal. That's actually in your part of the world, Northern Bharat.
Okay.
I personally haven't been there. I don't know if any of the devotees present. I know Uddhav, he's not on the call today. He's been there. Our Guru Maharaj went there many times. And in fact, we have some priests in our Guru Maharaj's ashram who live in Shambal. So
it's a Punjab area, Punjab state.
I think it's Haryana.
Haryana.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I will find out. I'll let you know.
That's fine. Okay, thank you.
Very good. So, again, in the Kalki Puran, Parshuram, who is actually one of the teachers of Kalki when he comes, because Parshuram is still in this world, and he actually is, he teaches military science. He taught this to Bhishma, he taught it to others as well, and he teaches Kalki when he comes as well. Of course, the Lord needs no teaching, but in order to glorify his devotee Parshuram, he takes shelter of him to learn military science. So Parshuram has this to say to the Lord: "You have learned the art of discharging arrows from me. You will take transcendental knowledge from Shukadev Goswami. You will award a powerful weapon. You will be awarded a powerful weapon by Lord Shiva. Thereafter, you will marry a woman named Padma from the island of Simhala, Sri Lanka. Your mission is to establish Sanatana Dharma. Thereafter, you will set out to conquer the entire world. And in the course of that conquest, you will defeat many sinful kings who are representatives of Kali. You will also annihilate many followers of Buddhism. Specifically, he mentions Buddhism. Not that we've got anything against Buddhism, because as we were discussing yesterday, Lord Buddha is also an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. However, the principles that are followed within Buddhism are not those which were taught by Lord Buddha. And thus it describes that even the followers of Buddhism will be annihilated. And you will entrust the responsibility of ruling the world to Devaki and Lord. So it's again echoing what's been said in the other Puranas. Now, in the 20th chapter of Kalki Puran, it explains his search for Kali. Why does he do this? Lord Kalki would go to where would he go? Would go to the favorite places of that personality, the playgrounds of inauspicious creatures such as ghosts, foxes, and jackals. These places are permeated with foul odor of decaying beef and infested with crows and owls. Kali's domain can be found wherever there is gambling and intoxication. His favorite place of residence are always causes of fear and danger. The men in Kali Yuga are completely under the demanding sway of gratifying their senses with no moral foundation. So we can see where Kali will live, where they live, and that's why we follow the 4 regulative principles. No meat eating, fish, eggs, no intoxications. That includes also tea and coffee, because why should we be addicted to anything in this world? I know many people who, if they don't have a cup of tea in the morning, the caffeine shot, then they get a headache. Well, why should we subject ourselves to any headaches because we can't have tea or coffee. There may be many situations when we're away from home where we don't have access to tea or coffee. So we don't want to be addicted to it.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, is
Right.
that including decaf tea?
Decaf, if it gives you a headache, if you don't have it, if
No.
it gives you a headache,
Yeah.
the idea is to avoid anything that is addictive, and generally it doesn't include decaf because decaf should not make you addicted.
Mm.
It should not make you addicted.
No, it doesn't.
Although I have heard that even within decaf coffee, there's a small tinge of caffeine anyway. But that's not going to, the idea of avoiding coffee, for example, is to avoid the addiction. That's the whole idea. So we shouldn't be addicted to anything in this world, so that we can be, our mind can be very clear at all times. Not that we require something in order to stop our headache, for example. Of course, there may be some conditions, health conditions one has, and we take medicines. That's, of course, acceptable. But not as a normal day.
Can I make a point?
Yes.
Talking about decaf, apparently, when I used to work in the hospital, it's Kamakshi Devidasi.
Okay, Hare Krishna, Kamakshi.
Listening. Yeah, regarding the decaf, I used to work in a hospital, and one of the doctors, he was a Bengali doctor.
Okay.
He didn't believe in God. He just says, anyway, to cut the story short, he said, oh, you have decaf coffee or tea, but the chemicals they put in it to take the caffeine out is equally bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm just making a point. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, that's the end of decaf coffee. But there's other alternatives even to decaf coffee. There's what do we have? I haven't had it for a while now. Caro, something like that. Caro. It's barley cup, so it's not even decaf coffee, and it tastes like coffee. So if one is addicted to some taste, then that's another option. But ideally, even that shouldn't be addicted to anything. Ideally. Thank you, Kamakshi, for sharing that.
You're welcome.
So again, a little bit more explained as to why the agents of Kali are pursued by Kalki. They transgressed all Vedic principles of religion. All these relatives, agents of Kali, are the destroyers of sacrifice, the study of the Vedas, charity. This is what Kali does, destroys all these things. They're residing places of mental distress, disease, old age, destruction of religious principles, sorrow, lamentation, fear. These descendants of Kali are found wandering everywhere throughout the kingdom of Kali. Misguided people who, due to lusty desires, are extremely sinful, very proud, even violent to their own father and mother. Even those who are known as twice-born Brahmins, spiritually initiated, are devoid of all good behavior, without any observance of proper etiquette. So this is the impact of Kali, that even those who are regarded to be in the higher social classes, if you like, and their behavior should be exemplary, but it isn't in this age of Kali, because Kali's agents are everywhere. They've basically destroyed religious principles completely. And that's why Kalki is going to chase out Kali in order to re-establish religious righteousness in the next stage. What are his activities? He will wander all over the planet without being seen by anyone. For the first 32 years, after 32 years, he will start his campaign. And for 20 years, that campaign will last, so that he's cleared out everything bad about Kali. He will take with him a big army of horses, chariots, elephants, surrounded by hundreds and thousands of spiritually purified brahmanas, armed with weapons. Being brahmanas, these weapons may be brahminical weapons that are activated by mantra, rather than weapons of combat, like such as guns, missiles, etc. So this is from the Brahmanda Purana. So it's interesting how there'll be an army of Brahmins. So there will be spiritually elevated souls. They'll be just hidden perhaps in the forests, hidden away from the general class of men. Kalki will mount his white horse, Devdatta. And there's a temple actually in Jaipur, which is, I think, one of the first Kalki temples, where they have this horse as a deity, Devdatta. And it's regarded that that horse will be manifesting as the white horse, Devdatta. And with sword in hand, traveling all over the earth, exhibiting his 8 mystic opulences and 8 special qualities of God. This is from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th canto, 2nd chapter, 19th verse. He will duly give away this earth at a great horse ritual to the Brahmanas, and then enter a charming forest. The Vishnu Puran, chapter 24, book 4, continues about his activities. By his irresistible might, he will destroy all the malechers and thieves, all whose minds are devoted to iniquity. He will re-establish righteousness upon earth. The minds of those who live at the end of Kali Yuga shall be awakened and shall be as clear as crystal. The men who are thus changed by virtue of that peculiar time shall be the seeds of human beings, shall give birth to a race which will follow the laws of Kriti age, Satyuga, the age of purity. So that's when the new dawn will arise. As it is said, when the sun and the moon and the lunar asterism Tishya and the planet Jupiter, Brihaspati, are in one mansion, Satyuga shall return. So that's an interesting prediction. After Lord Kalki has removed all the nefarious and wicked kings, rulers and people, and the atheist religions have been abolished for the real spiritual progress of Sanatana Dharma, Lord Kalki, returning from his wanderings all over the planet, will return to his village, Shambhala. And Kalki Puran now explains what he will do. He'll continue to reside in the village of Shambhala with his brothers and relatives for 1,000 years. The entire village of Shambhala, which was as good as the heavenly planets, appeared very beautiful with its assembly houses, gates, raised platforms, flags, flapping in the breeze that have been placed there and here. Anyone who gives up his material body in Shambhala was freed from all sinful reactions and awarded shelter at the lotus feet of Kalki. Again, Kalki Puran describes about the management, what will happen. Thereafter, the unlimited, powerful Kalki continues to reside at Shambhala. He gives various lands to King Vishakhapu Yup to rule. Lord Kalki orders his son, Kritvarma, to rule numerous other kingdoms. He offers heaps of jewels and other wealth to the citizens of Shambhala. He continues to live happily there as a householder together with his wives, Rama and Padmavati. And at this time, Satyuga will recommence. By the order of Kalki, the 2 kings, Maru and Devapi, execute their duties of protecting the people of the world. So then there's further descriptions about the conditions that will be found when Kalki rules the planet. As time went on, the day finally arrived for Kalki to return to his spiritual residence. So after this description given about the auspicious conditions in this world, he will describe, Kalki Puran describes how the Lord will leave this planet. One day after hearing the prayers of the Devatas, Lord Kalki ecstatically expressed his own desire to return to Vaikuntha, his spiritual abode, taking with him his eternal associates. Thereafter, Lord Kalki summoned his four very powerful sons, all of whom were very dear to the citizens because they were very pious and influential, and handed over the rule of the kingdom to them. The Lord then addressed his subjects, revealing his intention. Lord Kalki said, "At the request of the demigods, I will return to Vaikuntha." They were all shocked because remember, the Lord has been there for 1,000 years, and every day they would have darshan of Kalki. So they were devastated when they heard these words, and they offered many, many prayers to the Lord. They offered their obeisances. They begged the Lord, "Please don't go. Please stay. Let us come with you. Take us with you." But after hearing their prayers, he pacified them as far as he could, and left for the forest, taking with him his two consorts, Padmavati and Rama. And thereafter, surrounded by many sages, they traveled to the Himalayas, and he sat by the side of the Ganga, assumed his four-armed form again, and in deep meditation, descended back for the spiritual world with his consorts. So this is how Kalki Avatar leaves this planet. Now, when will he appear? Right? When will he appear? This is a very interesting area. It is predicted that Kalki will appear at the end of Kali Yuga. So we're talking about another 427,000 years, which is what's left in this age of Kali. It's a long time. Like we were discussing, like Pitambar was saying yesterday, already it is so bad. Already it looks like Kali is just become so degraded. So how come it's going to take such a long time before anything can happen? Well, this is a very good point. It's said that when a person commits mahapap, sins, a lot of big sins, maha means big, pap means sin, then generally what will happen is that person's lifespan is reduced. Even he may have a long lifespan, but performing sinful activities reduces that lifespan. So if we look at the current condition which Kali has put us in, the incredibly bad treatment of animals, mass slaughters, it's unimaginable the number of animals that are slaughtered every single day just to satisfy men's tongues. And the horrible, actually, cruel treatment, especially of Gomata. And even in Bharat, she's treated so badly. And Bharat is supposed to be a place where Gomata is treated nicely and respectfully. So is Kali's lifespan reduced because of this Mahapap? Many spiritual authorities believe that is the case, and that Kalki may well appear much sooner than 427,000 years' time, because the conditions are already very bad, almost as if as bad as they would be towards the end of Kali. So,
Prabhuji, I remember Guru Maharaj saying that quite a lot of times that Kalki, Kali, he's eaten up a lot of his life because of the Mahapaps he's been doing. A lot of times I heard Guru Maharaj saying that.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. His Holiness Krishna Swami, he installed Kalki in Punjab in the late 90s. Can't remember the exact date. Kali Yuga head, Kali Yuga brain, as we know, due to his deep concern for the welfare of the human race and the terrible cruelty inflicted of Gomatas. So, as you just said, Pitambar, he would say often that the time has come for Kalki to appear. And when does the Lord appear? When you pray for him to appear. When you desperately pray, "My dear Lord, your time has come." Like the Devatas, they go to Shwetadeep and they pray to the Lord, "Please come. The time is needed for you to come now." So this is what many spiritualists are doing. They're praying for Kalki to appear so that Kali, or the effects of Kali can be destroyed and the new age can begin. And this is due to their deep, deep-rooted compassion. So, this is where we are at now. Actually, Uddhav, you're on the call. Uddhav,
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Uddhav. You've been to Shambhala, right?
Yes, Prabhuji, and we all went actually. You also went with us once.
Did I? Oh,
Yeah.
I did. Yes, I remember now. I remember. With Guru Maharaj.
Guru Maharaj, yes.
So just tell us where it is.
So it's in district Moradabad in Uttar Pradesh.
Uttar Pradesh. Okay.
Yes, and I think that is most probably the Shambhala where Kalki ji will appear. But there are other places also with the name Shambhala. There is one in Orissa, and there is one in Russia.
Oh, really? Okay.
But
Wow.
the one where it is believed the Kalki ji will appear, and there are already temples of Kalki ji, that is in Shambhala, in Moradabad, Uttar Pradesh.
Okay. Thank you very much. Because one of the devotees on this conference was asking, Amita Krishna Prabhu.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Very good. Anything you want to add about Kalki, what we've just said?
Nothing much, Prabhuji. It's just that Guru Maharaj used to say that, maybe you've already said it, I wasn't completely paying attention, but that if Kali does more than it is supposed to do in lesser time, then it eats its own life, and Kalki ji is free to appear before time. He's not under the influence of time like all of us.
Very
He's
good point.
master of time.
Very good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah, even in Kalki Puran, there is a mention of, time is just an energy of the Lord. So, the Lord has full control over it, not the other way around.
Very good point. Thank you very much for making that point, actually. Brilliant point.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Sangini's got a question.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Sangini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, how are you?
Okay, thank you. You?
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, I just wanted to ask a question. In the beginning, you said the Lord gave a benediction that He will appear as parents of Lord Rama, Lord Krishna, and Lord Kalki, right?
Yeah, he agreed to Swayambhur Manu that he will appear as his son 3 times.
Yeah, but in the Krishna book, I'm slightly confused. Maybe this is something different, but still, I just want to clarify. In the Krishna book, he says, the Krishna says to Vasudev, I gave you the benediction that I would take birth as your son 3 times. The first time, I'll be known as Prisangarbha, born of Prisni and Sutapa.
Right.
As Upendra, born of Aditi and Kashyapa, and now for 3rd time as Krishna from you and Devaki.
Yeah.
So this is a bit confusing,
Yeah, it can be confusing. The thing is, remember there are 2 parents, aren't there, of Krishna?
Yeah.
Vasudev, and then there's also Nand Maharaj.
Yeah.
So that might account for the difference.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe. I'll have a look at that. But sometimes that's get confusing, especially when sometimes these events crosses yugas. Like we're in this Kali Yuga, but then sometimes Bhagavatam isn't necessarily inhibited in looking at a specific age or series of yugas. Sometimes it can talk about pastimes that have taken place in a completely different yuga. And then it seems, hang on a minute, are we talking about this yuga? The Lord is appearing here, or is he appearing there? So sometimes it does get a little bit confusing.
Okay, that makes sense now.
Well, it makes less sense now.
Thank you, Prabhu.
But yeah, it can get very confusing. It's very true.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything
Hare
else?
Krishna, Prabhu. I've got one.
Hey, Hare Krishna. Sam, how are you?
I'm well.
Good.
Prabhu, I suppose by the time Lord Kalki comes, the entire planet will be covered by skyscrapers and all this concrete jungle. And I'm thinking the transition from Kali Yuga to Satya Yuga, because I know in Satya Yuga,
Yes,
everywhere will be forest land.
yes.
So how would Kalki, destroy all the concrete jungle and then transform the planet into a forest land to start
Let's put it another way.
Satya Yuga?
It's a good question, Sam. We don't want to be here to find out, right? No idea how he's going to do it. But of course, the Lord can do anything. And within a moment, for example, he opens the mouth of, Yashodamai opens his mouth and he sees the whole universe in his mouth. He can do anything he likes. He's not subjected to the restrictions that we are subjected under. So how he will do it, I don't think it's specified, but definitely the concrete jungle will be there and the concrete jungle will have to go. Because as you said, very nice,
Indeed.
Satya Yuga is going to be a tranquil, beautiful place where nature will take over again. A little bit like now, in many ways. I think the concrete jungle has sort of come to a halt because of the virus, and there's not so much building work taking place, and nature is again sort of taking control of Earth, bit by bit by bit, especially during this time of the lockdown. So I suppose at that time there'll be an almighty lockdown where everything obviously stopped and destroyed and then rejuvenated again into fresh air, fresh fields, etc. How he
I
will
hope
do it,
so.
we don't know. Yeah, definitely will. Definitely will. That's a nice point, Sam. Thank you. Good question.
Prabhuji, I really like an almighty lockdown. I thought that was brilliant. That was a brilliant little added.
Somebody said to me this, because I was asking a question to Alex, how are you doing? And are you still affected by the lockdown? His reply to me was, well, aren't we all in a massive lockdown here on Earth? We are. We're locked down in this world. And the idea is through spiritual practice, through bhakti yoga, we can unlock this lockdown and go back to the spiritual world. So we definitely don't want to be around when Kalki comes. If we are around, then we want to be one of the Brahmins assisting him. But ideally, our situation is that we want to go back home, back to home. And one of the things I really wanted to emphasize was that the avatars, we can't accept just anybody as avatar of God. If somebody says, I am God, or if somebody says, this person is God, then we really have to test that proposition very, very thoroughly. Because if we accept somebody as God, we probably are being cheated, because there are many qualifications for one to be accepted as God. One is predicted in the scriptures. And as you can see, Kalki is predicted not just in one scripture, many, many scriptures. Another prediction, another thing that qualifies one to be God is you perform extraordinary activity, not just produce some ashes here or there. You lift up Govardhan for 7 days, 7 nights. You do something extraordinary. And then there are markings on one's body which will identify one as Supreme Personality. The hands have various symbols. If somebody says they're God, ask to shake their hand and have a look. What's their hand? Of course, in this age of social distancing, that might not be allowed anymore. But can I just see your hands? Can I just see your soles of your feet? Are the symbols of God there? If they're not there, that person isn't God. So we shouldn't be cheated. Unfortunately, there are a lot of cheaters out there, but we should not be cheated that this person is God and that person is God. No, an avatar of God has specific markings to identify him as Supreme Lord. Anyway, I wanted to stop there. Thank you very, very much. Thank you for your questions and your contributions. I really enjoyed today's session. And I hope you found it useful. Kalki Avatar Ki Jai. So, unless there are any quick questions or comments, we can go to Karuna Bandar, who can recite the Nasinga Kavach for everybody's protection.